So what we're doing here is building a fence from an existing original fence line. So what our aim is here is to ensure that we've got a good clean fence line, preferably graded and formed up, which just helps you down the track with maintenance, keeping the fence line clean. But it's really critical to have a good clean fence line. We recommend a steel post at every 10 metres, and you just step that out and lay your steel posts out on the ground in preparation for running the sight wire. We then run a sight wire up the full length of the strain so that you can then line up your steel posts and put them into the ground. We left the strainers hooked up to the post. We haven't tied the wire off because what we want to do is be able to release that later and feed it back through the posts when they're on the ground. Then once your sight wire's in, it's just a matter of banging in your steel posts. Now walking back down the fence line, we've got all the steel posts in place. What we're doing here is just marking the strainer post with the height of our wires so that when we're tying off the wires, we get them in the correct positions. Disconnect the sight wire and then we'll take it back and we'll start to feed that through the ISPs. Right, so we're just walking back now with the sight wire. We just need to take it back far enough. You just come back to this side of the posts that are laying out in the ground, and then we're ready to thread it through. Here is we've calculated how many of the posts we need for the full strain, and then we've just laid them out ready for threading. So it's as simple as just push the wire up into the end of the needle and then just thread it through. Remembering this is sight wire, so it's going on the bottom. And you see there, it's just popped through. So then it's just a matter of taking that wire to your end assembly and tying it off. So you can see now that we've got the original sight wire threaded through all the posts and tied off onto the end assembly down the end there. So then it's just a matter of how many spinners you've got is how quick you can do this. We've got 3 spinners here, so we're going to thread another 3 wires through the posts, and then we'll run them to the other end and tie them off, and we'll strain them all up to full tension. And then we'll come back and we'll do the same thing again with the last 3 wires. Remembering we've got 1 wire already in there, we've got 3 spinners, so that gives us 4 wires. We're doing a 7-line fence, so we'll do another 3, and then that's all of our wires run. So it's just a matter of same thing again, needle on the end of the wire. We're just coming off the back of the ute there. Find the second hole. Feed it through. One thing that's very important is you leave all the packs strapped up until you've threaded them all. Otherwise the post won't stay aligned and it becomes a nightmare. As you can see, these ones aren't tied together and it's proving a little bit problematic. So as you can see here now, we've got the first 4 threaded through. They're all tied onto the end assembly, and now we're going to run the wires out to the other end of the strain, and then we'll cut the wires and strain these 4 wires up and then come back and repeat the process. Yeah, so just when you get to the other end of the strain, you just need to make sure you stop your spinners from overspinning, and then what we'll do now is cut these wires and strain them up to full tension. So once tied off, we return down to the other end, thread the last 3 wires through the posts, tie them off at that end, and then run them out again up to the other end, strain them up and tie them off. We suggest you use a tension gauge when straining your wires to ensure that you get all the wires to the correct tension and do not overstrain your wires. All the wires now are up to full tension. You can see that the posts have stood up on the fence line now and they're ready to run out. But you look down the line there, you'll see that the wires are sagging, so it makes it impossible to really push out the posts without lifting them up and guiding them along, which is what we're about to do with the application tool. So here we've got an application tool that we use to run the posts out along the fence. So it's a pretty quick, easy install. It comes in 2 parts. We've got the main frame here that just sits on the side of any ute or trailer. We have a strap here that you put over the top of it, and you can tension that down. This is now the guide arm that we need to fix to it, and depending on how many wires you're running, It's configured now to run 8, and you can see it's got multi holes up the side here to be able to adjust the height depending on your vehicle height. So what we need to do is bring the vehicle along so you've got half of your posts out the front and the rest of them out the back behind the applicator machine. Lift all the wires onto these guide rollers here. We suggest that you tie all but the last bundle of posts to the ute and let the ute pull them along until they're needed later down the line. We're now ready to run the posts out, which entails the ute moving down the fence line and a second person walking along behind the ute, letting a post go at every steel post and 2 posts in between. As each bundle is expired, you need to release the next bundle from the ute, cut the tape and continue down the line. Once all the posts from behind the applicator have been released, you then need to lift the fence off of the applicator, drive around to the front of the next bunch of posts and lift the fence back on and continue down the line. Once you're at the end of the strain, you remove the wires from the applicator, run the last couple of posts out by hand, which has all of your posts into position and ready for clipping onto the fence. In order to clip the posts into position, you'll need a clip spanner, you'll need some steel post clips, and you'll need some standard post clips. We firstly clip the posts to the steel posts, and then we continue down the fence line, stepping out 3 metres between each of the posts in between the steel posts, and we clip them on as we move down the fence line. We recommend to clip the bottom wire first. This helps you to keep the post straight when you clip the top wire. The clips are a heavy-duty industrial spring wire which grip tightly around the fence wires to ensure that the posts will not move once secured in the fence.